Hi everyone, Ronan here from Studio Umbrella and qwiqode.com. In this video I want to show you how to install custom font files onto your website. There's a few different ways to do it, so I'll go through and review each way. What we'll be doing is we'll basically, let's say we want to change this font here. There are three different ways you could basically do it. One would be to select a font through your theme editor that Shopify provides. It has built-in list, a very extensive list of different fonts. Another one would be if you're using fonts that aren't included in that list, let's say from Typekit or Google Fonts or FontSquirrel, just to name a few. And another one is if you get a font from one of the foundries, but you actually have files to install. So there's basically three different ways to do it. So we'll jump into all the different ways to do it. So the first one, which is an easy one, if you go to your theme editor, and over on the left you have theme settings. You can click on that, and usually your theme provides typography settings where you can update the font for headings and body, menu, and so forth. Depends on the theme that you're using. So you would head over to there, and then you have a font selector right over there. And you can go in and just click that to change it, and you could just select the font that you want. As you can see, the font for all the headings on the site changes just like you chose. So that's one simple way to do it. The next one is, let's say you found a font that's on Google Fonts. Let's say we want to put in Roboto. So we'd click on that. Here you have a list of the different styles that you have. So let's say we want thin version and a regular version and a bold. So you would click to add these in. So I've already added the thin, the regular, and the bold. Then up here, it might already be open, but you can click on View Selected Families. And then you have two code snippets that you have to install. They have to copy over. So let's start with this first one. So you would copy that code, head over to your theme editor and click on Edit Code, like that, and it'll open up your code editor. Locate your theme.liquid file in the layout section, which would be here, because you want this to be installed on every page, and the theme file loads up on every page. And you want to paste that code anywhere between the head, the opening head, and the end head. Somewhere, usually it's best the higher up, like before any CSS that may be placed there. It's not so important, but let's just place it in here for now. So that's the code. Now, Google Fonts does include 3 lines of code, and usually Typekit just adds in 1. This is an example of code from Typekit, as you can see. It's just that. And then next, you want to add in the font family. So go back to Google Fonts, and then you have this CSS rule. So you could copy that over, go back to your code, and then you would locate in each of the CSS files where the different elements that you want that font to be attached to. So an easy way to find the fonts is up here in the search. We would add a .css, and here there depends on the theme you're using. There could be many CSS files. There could be little. Usually, you would look for something called theme.css or styles, or in this case, let's say it's base, and that's like a basic one where it has a lot of code pasted around. And then you would locate, this is for more technical users that know a little bit of CSS, but you would look for the different status elements or class names that you want to set the font for. You could also just search for font family. And for instance here, text body, then you could basically just put in this font family and get rid of this right in there. So you could do that. In cases where you do see this kind of VAR, which stands for variable, font weight body, or sorry, font weight family, right over here, you can actually search for that variable, which is most probably going to be here, font body. Find where that's defined. It could be defined actually in the theme here. Here, it's defined right over here. So you can actually just override this, but overriding this will override everything set in your theme editor. But you can do that and it'll just put in that font. And then you have a few different ones for heading if you just want the heading, and so on. But if you want it just for one specific class, you're going to have to identify the class name and then paste it in there. For instance, here, all of the different headings, H1, we can do that right over here. Save. Go over to the site, refresh, and not a big difference, but this is the Roboto font that was added. So that's another way that you can do it. The third way is if you actually have files to upload to use. So some foundries, they do provide you with a font with a font file as well. Some as well as the link, and some just give you the file. For instance, on Google Fonts, you can go in here and download all. So if you select download all, you actually have a zip file with the 3 files, and you can download it directly into a folder. So after you do that, you go to your assets folder. There are 2 different places you can place it, either in the assets folder or in the files folder. I'll show you the files folder in a moment. Since we're here, go into add new asset. You can upload a file, and let's just choose this font that's already here instead of unzipping the Roboto file, and just upload that file. And obviously there's no preview of it, but that's uploaded. Then the next step would be in your CSS file. Since in this type of way, we don't need to place any link code that we did in the first step. So this isn't necessary anymore. You can just save that right over there. And then next, we would actually set up the font face rule, which looks like this. So this is actually declaring a font. So here we can give it any name we want, but let's just say Open Sans, like that. And then here's a place where you would put the font file name. So it's basically this name. But since we put this in the assets folder, we actually have to use some liquid code. So you open up 2 curly brackets, and then you would put in the exact name of the file, Open Sans bold web font .woff, and then vertical line and asset file, asset URL. I think it's assets URL. And then for format, usually TrueType isn't the one used. It's WOFF. There's only one file that needs, so you could put that in. It's not necessary. You can omit this part, but we can just leave that. And then next, similar to the previous way to do it, we just add in, we declare the font family. So we can go into here. Let's say we'll search for the H1s or even the body, but let's look for the H1s. Here they are. And we can just replace that. Oops. With the same name that you set up. And then we select save, refresh the page, and it changed, although again, not so different, at least with the font that we chose. Open Sans is a more general font, but indeed it changed. And similarly to adding it to the assets folder, you can add the file to the files section. So if you're in the admin, you go over to the left on content and then files, and then you can click on upload files, choose the font, wait for it to be uploaded, and there it is. And then you can click here on copy link, just copy that link, go back to your code, and in the font face here, there are two things you can do. You can either put in, just change that files. This is the path that we entered, so basically this is the file. In this specific case, it's the same exact text, so you just need to change files URL. But you can also just take this entire path, and instead of this entire liquid snippet, you could just paste the path right over there and then save that. And that's it. Go in there. There won't be a change because, well, yeah, we put in the bold font. So there you go. The bold font, you could see that was installed properly. The last little tip for anyone who has installed qwiqode sections, in order to not get into all these files and all this stuff, like in different CSS and locate the right class and all that, you can go to, in your theme editor, let's say we have this qwiqode section right over here, and we want to change this font. So we have section header. So you'd scroll over and you'd have this option for custom font. As you can see, you could turn it off, turn it on, like that. And then you can place just the name taken from here. And as you can see, once I pasted that in, we got the that Open Sans bold font. And that's it. I hope this tutorial helped you understand how to install custom fonts and the various ways there are to do it.